This is the show giving you the best sales insights and ideas to become the best you can be in sales and sales leadership. My name is Gert Scholts. Welcome to Best Practice for Sales Professionals. And today I am so excited to meet a practitioner sales and marketing strategist. After a distinguished career in marketing professional services, she now helps ambitious female coaches who struggle with selling and supercharges their sales efforts. Carole Bozkurt, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gert. It's lovely to be here.
It's great to see you, Carole. So how did you overcome any limiting belief you may have had when you turned sales professional after being in marketing for such a long time?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when I left the corporate world and started working for myself, I had this really good corporate career, and I also had the academic stuff to back it up as well. And although I'd always been in selling and I had always sold, because I didn't have these diplomas and degrees and masters in selling, I thought, I've got to go and learn how to do it, which was crazy. So I went and did some courses, and they were great courses, but they just didn't work for me. And I was trying to follow their steps, and I found it really awkward. It just really didn't feel authentic. So what I started doing was I said to myself, look, go back to the way that you used to sell and see what happens. And as soon as I did that, my whole business started to change. And then what I did was I took my knowledge and experience and I infiltrated it into my VIPs. So they didn't actually realize at the time we were doing it. And I just thought, I just want to see what happens here. And of course, their businesses started growing. And through talking to my clients, I realized that actually selling was one of the things that they really needed help with. And I thought, yeah, I can do this. And, I stepped into it that way.
Wow. And why should female entrepreneurs unbreak, if you like, any of their beliefs about selling, if they think selling is not a done thing, if you like?
Well, the thing is, if you're going to run a business, you have to sell. I mean, that's it for everyone. And actually, you want to be the leader in your business. You're the CEO of your business. So you've got to step into that role. So if you know that there is a gap, then the one thing you've got to do is plug that gap. And what happens an awful lot of the time, and especially for, people in business, is that a lot of the time they learn their craft and they've done that for years, but they actually haven't learned to sell. So it's identifying that there is a need, and then you've got to take action in order to plug up that gap. And once you've taken yourself through some form of sales training or worked with a sales coach, or whatever that might be, you're going to feel a lot more confident about it. And I think for a lot of women, it's about understanding that selling isn't salesy or manipulative or sleazy or any of those really bad connotations that people have in their mind. It is about helping other people to really get to that end destination that they want to. You've got a gift that you want to take into the world, but if nobody knows it because you don't sell, then you're not going to be able to help anyone. And that whatever you do, whatever service or product you provide, could be something that could change their life. And you've got to look at it in that context.
So when you work with entrepreneurs, what are your experiences? As in, how do they become skilled in sales? Carry on.
I was going to say, so I think the first thing is that for a lot of female entrepreneurs that I work with, there often is some resistance around selling because of those reasons. Am I being authentic? I don't want to feel like I'm going to be somebody else. I want to turn up and be myself. And I actually work with a lot of people who are introverted. So, they're not going to rush into a meeting and be the life and soul of the party there. So they want to feel that they can sell in a way that's truly authentic to who they are. And then they start to feel a lot more comfortable with it. So first of all, it's about helping them to understand that they may have some resistance to it. And the second thing is about making sure that you just demystify those myths that they may have built up in their head for whatever reason. And then just helping them understand that actually there is a bit of a gap, and that if they can fill that gap up through education and finding out exactly what to do, then they can then start to really build their business in a way that's going to be really fruitful for them.
Interesting. So what does good look like in a sales mindset, if you like?
So in a sales mindset, what I would always say is you need to be selling every single day. But for me, selling is all about having a conversation. It's not some big aggressive thing. It's not something that you really build up to. It's all about recognizing, it's about building relationships. It's about understanding if the fit is right between you and your potential client. And then it's about having a conversation to see how that can work. And for you as the business owner, you've got to take the lead in that conversation. So you've got to make sure that you're pulling it through. And there are certain processes that you need to do. So once you understand the step-by-step process, it's so much easier for you to have that conversation. And then actually people start to move from being in resistance to actually really enjoying and loving selling, because they know that if they get it right, they're going to get their dream client. And that's what they want to do. They want to have, a business that's filled with their dream clients that they find fulfilling, and it's helping the other person to get to that end destination that they want to be in.
So Carole, my last question, you've been working with entrepreneurs for many years. Give us your 3 top tips to unbreak those sales attitudes, if you like, and become successful at selling.
Okay, so the first tip I would say to people is remember what you bring to the table. So for a lot of people, they've got a terrific amount of knowledge and expertise. And for some reason, when they start their own business, that all seems to fly out the window and they forget the value that they bring to the table. So just a real quick exercise, just write down all your achievements that you've gained over the last, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever that might be. And just use that as a reminder every single time before you go into a sales meeting, so that you just remember what you're bringing to the table. The second thing is you've got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to believe in you? So you really do need to know your why you're doing this. And again, if you ever forget, just remind yourself, have it written down, whether that's in a notebook, whether it's on your phone, so that you can look and remind yourself. And then the third thing that I would always say is it's really important to get yourself into that state of readiness. And I worked for a company that pioneered executive coaching years ago, and the founders were really good friends with Tony Robbins, and he always used to talk about getting into a state. And I used to think, what on earth is he talking about, getting into this state? But it's all about raising your vibration. So it's the energy that you bring to a conversation, because your energy transfers. So if you come to that conversation feeling less than confident, or you're thinking, oh, I'm no good at this, or they're going to choose somebody else, not me, then they will, you're not bringing the right energy. So do the things that really help you to get into that state.
Wow. Well, that's great. I went to Tony Robbins many years ago in Brussels, and you were absolutely right about managing your state and your attitude. And that reminds me of salespeople I work with in the past, who, and myself included, that sometimes you come away from a meeting, you've got to go to the next one, and you kind of you live in the moment of the last meeting rather than the one that you're just about to go into.
Yeah, and I think you've got to remember that you always want to follow up from every meeting that you have. So many people leave a terrific amount of business on the table because they don't follow up, because they come out of that meeting and in their mind, it's the fear thing that's happening. That didn't go very well. I didn't see the right cues from the people, and therefore they don't follow up and they leave a ton of money on the table. Always follow up, because sometimes it just takes a bit of time for a sale to come through. But if you don't follow up, you're not going to have that opportunity.
Additional terrific advice. Thanks for coming on the show, Carole. It's been a pleasure having you here, and I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, Gert.
Bye.
Bye.
Like the show and share for more insights and ideas to make more sales.